Sunday statement for the New York Knicks, who are just flexing their muscles in these playoffs. They have outscored their opponents by 194 points through 10 games in this playoffs. The best differential by any team over a 10-game span in NBA playoff history, breaking a record previously held by those Warriors in 2017. That 194-point differential, it's also the best by any team through the first two rounds of the playoffs since 1984, which is when they expanded the playoffs to 16 teams. The previous best was 160, so it wasn't even close. And the Knicks are averaging over 120 points per game in these playoffs. That's the highest by any team in the playoffs since the '87 Lakers, the height of the Showtime Lakers. We're talking about maybe the best of all the Showtime Lakers teams. So this Knicks offense has been just ridiculous through 10 games of these playoffs, and it is a wrinkle/change that has led to it.
Brittany, last year in the playoffs, Karl-Anthony Towns had 24 assists and 40 turnovers. This year in the playoffs, 66 assists and 28 turnovers.
Wow.
Think about how different that is. So you're going to see right here a little pin down, a little screen here on the side action, and then what you're going to watch is Jalen Brunson is going to take this, and it's going to look like a dribble handoff, and he's going to cut this gap. Now, as the play develops and continues to go, here, he goes around, boom. And now, as this happens, okay, you're going to see multiple things. Number one, Tyrese Maxey's going to have to make a decision. Is he going to help here off this angle of Brunson coming down this way? Paul George in this corner? The thing to pay attention to is look at this gap of space right here between Joel Embiid and Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns has the vision, since there's no ball pressure, to watch everything. Look at his passing ability. As he's going to watch Tyrese Maxey drop down to this little gap right here, you're going to see him hit deuce for a quick three. Look how quick the three goes. Boom, goes up, makes a read. Bam, three-point shot, knockdown. Next play, another play here, a little dribble handoff. What's he doing defensively? You're forcing Joel Embiid to come down. You're forcing Kelly Oubre to come over the top. You're going to see Karl-Anthony Towns. A little pick and pop action here. The beautiful thing about this is, pay attention. 19 seconds in the shot. 4 seconds have gone up the shot clock. Pace and space, playing fast, keeping Joel Embiid moving off his feet. Play goes, boom, goes into it, catch, shoot, bam, shot already. Next play, how about we just invert a little ball screen action? Now we're going to have a up screen here. You're going to see a screen here coming off here. You're going to see you're going to see Karl-Anthony Towns come off. You're going to see Jalen Brunson make the right read, get to the corner, right? And look at, these are the kind of invert plays where you have a big in a pick and roll with a guard that can then pop out and shoot if he's available. Once again, forcing Karl-Anthony Towns to make the right read. Okay, Karl-Anthony Towns comes off the play, turns that corner by the screen, and now Joel Embiid has to come up. Joel Embiid comes up, and once again, Karl-Anthony Towns with the vision, just seeing the pass before it even happens. Play keeps going, makes the right play, boom, makes the right read. Mitchell Robinson, bam. It was just play after play, spacing, inverting plays, Karl-Anthony Towns, DHOs, making the right read, and he was dissecting them left and right.
That's an outstanding tape, and it's an outstanding illustration. We get Alan and Monica in here. I remember so vividly when Karl-Anthony Towns was coming out of college. He came into the studio, I think it was on the day of the draft or right around the week of the draft. He came into Bristol, where we used to do Mike and Mike, and he came and sat with Mike and me with his dad. And they talked about how he grew up playing point guard, that even though he was always the tallest, that he always had the ball in his hands, that he didn't want to be a big. He didn't want to have his back to the basket. He wanted to do all the stuff that you're showing him do, and he's always had the ability to do it because he had point guard skills, even though he is whatever he is, 7 feet tall or whatever it is. And so this is not something that they just discovered accidentally. This is something he's been wanting to do all his life.
And if you think about what you're watching, it almost feels like when you watch Golden State play back in the day, I'm not saying the players are comparable or the same, because Karl-Anthony Towns has the shooting ability, but the way the Golden State uses Draymond Green and a lot of action, and the way Jalen Brunson is now playing off the ball, it makes you think about Golden State a little bit.
So let me talk to Alan and Monica again a little bit about this, because it is a sea change, if you will, in the Knicks season. It almost feels like now there's everything that happened before Game 4 of the Hawks series and everything that has happened since. And what has happened since has been exactly what Jay just showed us.
I'm sort of chuckling a little bit. It's fantastic, but I'm thinking about the paces of the entire season, And you've heard Mike Brown say all year that he's not a necessarily play call guy. He's more of a reads guy. Now, was there a little bit of friction over what the reads were, blah, blah, blah at this point? But you get here, and I think to Jay's point, that first play in particular that Jay pulled up, we went with the action that unfolded, but there's a whole nother set of reads that could have been happening on the opposite side of the floor. And so I think now what it has come to me, is the accountability and the trust, not just player-wise, and of course guys are playing their best basketball at the right time, but also with the coaching staff. Like really putting your guys in a position to be most successful.
You have 7 straight games of shooting 50% or better.
Yeah.
Like, that's not something that you see. In the last 40 years, there's only one team that's done 8 games in a row, and that's the Phoenix Suns in 2022. Their first 8 games of the playoffs that year, they shot over 50%, and they went in the tank. That's something you don't want to see the Knicks do. But there's that, the efficiency part of it, so that certainly helps with the offense. But you mentioned it with Towns. Over those 7 games, he has 56 assists and 17 turnovers. So he's not turning the ball over, despite the fact that he's got the ball at the top. Is it Jokic-like, or is it more like the Golden State Warriors offense-like? I'm leaning more towards Warriors-like. It just seems like, especially because of Jalen Brunson off the ball. That's the biggest wrinkle of all to me, is him running around off screens that is now creating a lot of havoc for defenses that are trying to trap him or control him, because that's when the wings are really starting to feast off those passes from Towns.
So the Knicks will go on. First, they'll hibernate for a little while. We're not going to see them for about a week, and it could wind up being more depending on how long the series between the Pistons and Cavs goes. But we'll have plenty of time to talk about them. Today's really sort of the day to finish up on the 76ers. There's so much to be said about that team. Look, and Wendy said it at the beginning of the conversation, for them to beat Boston, particularly with the history of the rivalry and all of that, like it's not nothing. It's an accomplishment. But then when you look at the way this thing went over these last 4 games, Jay, what thoughts went through your mind?
Let me just start off with the barometer. Like, I am from New Jersey, like central New Jersey, so I spent a lot of time in Philly. What I know about Philly people are blue-collar, hardworking. They show up. They're one of the most loyal fan bases we have in all of sports. They've quit on their own team, and it's deserving of it. Look at the Flyers. The Flyers got swept by the Hurricanes. You know what the Flyers got? A standing ovation.
Yeah.
Because the Flyers at least fought. And what you're seeing, just show the one clip by Joel Embiid, and I know he's hurt, but like it was just play after play after play where all Philly fans wanted to see was just effort, And last night in a Game 4, a closing out scenario, every time a Knicks shooter made a shot, it felt like a home game for the New York Knicks.
Look at Grimes
because it's that effort right
Look at
there.
Grimes. Look at Grimes.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
Are you doing?
He's like, what are you doing? Like, they have no idea what they're doing. That's a closeout game. That's your leader. And that's why I just don't know.
But is it?
It's not. But it's not. But you know what? When you get paid like a leader, you're supposed to be the leader. That's not the case, though. I'm with you. It's Maxey.
We're on the same. It's Maxey, right?
Maxey.
I was looking for some ketchup yesterday after the game. Anyway, stumbled into the hall where VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey are waiting to go into their press conferences. And I did not see anyone else prior to their press conference, so I cannot say what the energy was like. But between the two of them, first of all, I wasn't supposed to be in the hallway. But anyway, you could feel the weight of what just happened on those young men. Right? And they go on and make their statements. Maxey talks specifically about how much it sucked to feel like you were in the Garden in Philly. This is going to be a case study in many ways. Because, yes, the paper and the money and the payroll say one thing, but it is so clear that Tyrese Maxey is the guy that's going to have to rejuvenate and pull this franchise forward. Like, and everybody knows that.
Am I the only one that's wondering how the hell did Boston lose to this team? Like, honestly, if you're in Boston and you're watching this, you say, not only did you lose to them in Game 7 on your home floor, you lost 3 straight games up 3-1. How is that possible against this defense with that guy on the floor, as we're showing you, who could not move?
Well,
I can't believe they lost that
I'm not ready
series.
to do that.
Why?
I'm not ready to do that because, one, we all know that Boston's Achilles heel, if you will, when it comes to three-point shooting. And two, I came into this series with the Knicks thinking this was going to be a long series because it felt like Philly was figuring something out and getting better. But they emptied the tank versus Boston. That's how you lose. Joel Embiid, when he is playing well, which he did versus Boston, is still a force.
This is what makes you mad in Boston. You relied so much on the three instead of forcing them to play drop coverage. Hey, here's a secret. Joel doesn't know the rotations.
There you go.
He had no idea where to go defensively, and the Knicks picked on it and picked on it and picked on it, and Boston just took threes and let him just sit in the paint and not have to move. That's why you're mad in Boston.
When all you do is shoot threes, you can lose games regardless of who you're playing.
Exactly.
You can be playing anybody if you're cold, and they got cold enough times.
I was just going to say one last thing on Philly, and then we could be done with it.
Doesn't have to be the last one.
Well, at some point,
bring it.
We got plenty of time.
When are we going to talk about the front office?
That's it.
And just let me, I'm not going to come up on TV and say somebody should be gone or not. But if you look at the last 3 years, so 23-24, they let go of James Harden. The next year they run it back. They don't get another superstar. Joel Embiid averages 34.7 points per game. They end up a 7th seed, first-round exit. The next year they sign Paul George, $200 million. Then they get Jared McCain. Jared McCain's playing well.
He's hooping.
Jared playing well.
So high.
Still first-round exit, right? The next year, on the back end of that, they actually tank. Yeah. They tank to get the right draft pick. Yeah. Then they get B.J. Edgecombe. They get B.J. Edgecombe. Now they're playing well. You get to the trade deadline. Do you get somebody else? Do you lean all in when Indy's not there, when Giannis is not playing well, when Jason Tatum's hurt, when the East feels like it's open? No. You trade Jared McCain.
Woo.
And for draft picks. By the way,
Sell
Jared
high,
McCain
Jay.
is shooting 81% from the three-point line right now versus the Lakers. Do you want me to keep going on? Isaiah Joe was on this damn team. Isaiah Joe is coming off the bench for OKC. Do you want me to keep going on? Shin Penny was on this damn team. Shin Penny is one of the best three-point shooters for the Spurs.
Get him,
That's
Jay.
all your depth.
Right.
All your depth. And now you're sitting here in purgatory with Joel Embiid. I'm just going to lay out the facts. You guys make the decision.
Get him, Jay.
That-
Get
no,
him.
but he-
That's like, that makes me stressed.
That is a well laid out set of facts.
It's all right.
That is Jay Will working himself into a lather, but
I'm very frustrated.
I think we all understand and appreciate it. It was tough to watch. I mean, it was tough to watch this happen. The one game that I went to when I was sitting right there was the one game that was close. And in the fourth quarter, I mean, I happened to be sitting this close to him. Maxey looked exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, he just had no